love in sight, where truth dared to roam. Gary Franchi stood tall in the light. He found home with a lantern held high in the dark of deceit. Founded a Lone Lantern Society, won't accept defeat. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. Aaron Russo called with a mission so bold to restore the republic to the days of old. As the national director, he took up the cause against all the tyranny without pause. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. Marched on the Fed, his voice loud and clear. And the Fed! For all to hear. In 2008, the movement grew tall. A pack for Ron Paul, Gary gave it his all. Raise your voice, light up the skies with the next news network where the real truth lies. From the reality report to the fight to be free, Gary's the voice in the fight for liberty. The lantern of light, Gary Franchi, forever in the fight. With news that's real in a world so surreal, he stands for freedom with undying zeal.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to N3 Primetime. Tonight, we are packed with explosive stories that will leave you on the edge of your seat. We're exposing the left's desperate attempt to silence conservative voices like Tucker Carlson ahead of the 2024 election. Gary has the scoop on CNN's shameless pressure campaign against Ticketmaster for hosting Tucker's upcoming speaking tour. But that's not all. We'll also dive into Hillary Clinton's shocking attack on Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito's Christian faith, labeling him a scary fanatic for his religious beliefs. Brace yourselves as Gary uncovers the dangerous alliance between Russia and North Korea, a pact that could plunge the world into another global conflict. And you won't want to miss President Trump's fiery response to the debacle surrounding Joe Biden's mental meltdowns during his European trip. As if that's not enough, we have startling data revealing a historic surge in Trump's support among black voters, particularly with younger generations. But we're just getting started. Later in the show, we'll be diving into the comments section to hear what you, the viewers, have to say. And in our Looking at You segment, we'll spotlight someone causing a major stir that you need to know more about. So get ready, because N3 Primetime starts now.
Good evening and welcome to N3 Primetime. Tonight we've got a lineup of stories that strike at the very heart of what's happening in this country. The left's relentless campaign to silence conservative voices like Tucker Carlson, Hillary Clinton's shocking display of religious bigotry against a Supreme Court justice, the alarming alliance between Russia and North Korea that could drag us into a global conflict, and the undeniable mental decline of Joe Biden that the media desperately tries to cover up, and data revealing the potential political realignment that could upend the entire electoral map. So why do these stories matter? Because they go to the core of who we are as a nation. Just like an old house, America has a foundation, principles, values, ideals that this country was built upon. As Thomas Jefferson once said, the policy of the American government is to leave their citizens free, neither restraining nor aiding them in their pursuits. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, limited government, a government that is transparent and accountable to the people. When that foundation is chipped away at piece by piece, the entire structure becomes unstable. The left understands this, which is why they're so intent on dismantling our core values and rewriting the narratives that hold our society together. From silencing dissent, to attacking religious faith, to cozying up to our adversaries, and to lying about the basics of what we can see with our own eyes, it's all part of the same effort to reshape America into something unrecognizable. And that brings me to our urgent appeal for support. Just like that old house, this channel, a place where we try to reinforce the foundations of our society, is also under threat from collapse from powerful forces intent on tearing it down. YouTube has turned its back on us after over a decade, demonetizing us and shutting us out despite our good faith efforts. Other platforms scorn us, making it harder to reach you with the truth. We're battling to preserve this home for free speech and honest discourse, but thanks to the generosity of supporters like Maine, Chris, Lynn, Rex, Susan, Kate, Morris, Ryan, Shell, Real, Kirk, Kenneth, and 4 anonymous donors, we were able to secure a critical part to fix our broadcast computer and keep this voice alive. With your help, whether through donations or simply spreading our message, is what allows us to keep reinforcing the crumbling foundation. If we lose this battle, the whole structure comes crashing down. So I'm asking you to stand with us in this critical moment. Together we can protect the foundations this great nation was built upon and ensure that the voice of truth and reason, the very voice of our founders sought to protect, are never silenced. Now, Angie, what lineup of stories do you have for us tonight?
Buckle up, America, because I've got a full docket of red-hot stories coming your way tonight that are going to leave you shaking your head. First up, Netflix is going all in on this new idea for Netflix-themed entertainment complexes called Netflix House. We'll tell you why this Vegas-style attraction could be a game-changer for the streaming giant. Then the baseball world is mourning the loss of a true icon. The legendary Willie Mays has passed away at 93. We'll reflect on the life and legacy of this transcendent athlete. In celebrity news, Justin Timberlake finds himself in hot water after a DWI arrest in New York. The pop star's legal mess could potentially derail his big tour. We've got the latest. The Surgeon General is calling for mandatory warning labels on social media, comparing it to the risks of tobacco and alcohol. An overreaction, or is he onto something about protecting your kids' mental health? And finally, country superstar George Strait just shattered an all-time concert attendance record down in Texas. We'll give you a front row seat for this historic night of music. Those stories and more are straight ahead. But first, let's go to Gary for our top story of the night.
Once again, CNN's up to its old tricks, launching a brazen attack on free speech in an attempt to silence Tucker Carlson. With the 2024 election looming, the liberal media is pulling out all the stops to censor conservative voices, but this time Ticketmaster isn't playing along. And this explosive special report will expose the depths of CNN's hypocrisy, reveal their true motives, and show you why this story matters to every freedom-loving American. So stay tuned. And just like how CNN is trying to control the narrative by silencing Tucker Carlson, the U.S. dollar's global dominance is being challenged. As countries consider dumping the petrodollar agreement, the dollar faces a potential reset and loss of purchasing power. With our national debt soaring above $36 trillion, it's crucial to protect your wealth. Call Global Gold Investments, America's leading conservative precious metals dealer, at the number on the screen. Take a look. It's 888-700-4148. Mention Next News for their 5-star customer treatment and receive a free 2024 Insure Your Money Wealth Preservation Guide and Portfolio Analysis. Don't let your financial future be controlled by others. Call that number on the screen. Now, in a move that's become all too familiar, CNN has once again set its sights on silencing conservative voices. This time, their target is none other than Tucker Carlson and his upcoming nationwide speaking tour. CNN's Oliver Darcy taking up the mantle left by ousted Brian Stelter, penning a hit piece targeting Ticketmaster for daring to sell tickets to Carlson's events. Darcy's article is a masterclass in the left's favorite tactic, labeling their opponents with every buzzword in the book, from racist to conspiracy theorists, in an attempt to pressure companies into submission. He even went so far as to quote the New York Times assertion that Carlson's former Fox News show was the most racist in cable news history. But here's the thing. The so-called dangerous disinformation that Darcy decries has largely been proven true, from the inconsistencies in the January 6th narrative to the 2020 election irregularities and the truth about vaccines. CNN conveniently ignores these facts, instead focusing on Carlson's guest list, which reads like a who's who of the left's most despised figures. Watch.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. The one thing we know for certain is the United States is going to be one intense place this fall moving into this presidential election. So we thought, what better time to hit the road and see the country? And we're going to this fall. We are pleased, in fact thrilled, to announce Tucker Carlson Live, which is what it sounds like, a nationwide tour. And at every show, we'll be joined by a friend, a special guest, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Russell Brand, and many others. We're going to be live on stage responding to everything that is happening in real time. It's going to be fun as hell and interesting. You can get tickets at tuckercarlson.com. They are certain to sell out. We encourage you to get one, and we'll see you there.
Darcy's true intentions became clear when he reaches out to Ticketmaster and the venues hosting Carlson's tour. Feigning journalistic objectivity while implying that no decent person could possibly associate with Carlson, this is nothing more than a thinly veiled threat designed to bully these companies into canceling events. But Ticketmaster and the venues didn't take the bait, refusing to comment on Darcy's loaded questions. This sent Darcy into a tailspin, claiming their silence is an indictment of their morality. In reality, it's a sign that Americans are waking up to the left's authoritarian tactics and are no longer cowed by baseless accusations of bigotry. As Michael Starr Hopkins pointed out on Rising, while he disagrees with Carlson's views, it's not the media's place to pressure companies into canceling events. That's a decision for Ticketmaster and its shareholders. Watch.
I vehemently disagree with Tucker Carlson. I think a lot of the things that he preaches are white replacement theory, and I think there's a lot of white nationalism in there. But if Ticketmaster and Live Nation want to platform him, that's between them and the stockholders who they owe. It's not for us to push Ticketmaster to not have him there. That's on Ticketmaster. I don't think it's a smart move for Ticketmaster to want to be aligned with Tucker Carlson, and especially Glenn Beck and a lot of the rhetoric that's going to be espoused at those events. But look, that's what capitalism is. That's how the free market works.
Now, Robbie Sove, also on Rising, called out CNN's hypocrisy, noting that they paint Carlson as uniquely reprehensible while ignoring the mainstream media's own failings. Watch.
And I think it's just a utterly loathsome and discredited tactic at this point. Yeah, it's just very obnoxious to me that CNN's point of view is that that's the only acceptable opinion. That's the only mainstream people who get things wrong all the time, who are they want to paint Tucker Carlson as uniquely reprehensible or a unique spreader of misinformation. I've certainly disagreed with some of the things Tucker Carlson has said over the years. Not all of the things. Other things I think he's been at the cutting edge on. But that's just like not acceptable to the mainstream media. It just has to be, by the book, what they think goes, and no one else is allowed to express an opinion on that.
The truth is, CNN's attempts to silence Carlson are a desperate ploy to control the narrative heading into the 2024 election. With Carlson's podcast ranked second on Spotify and his views resonating with a significant portion of the American public, the left knows they can't win on ideas alone. Instead, they resort to censorship and intimidation. But their tactics are wearing thin. Americans are tired of being told what they can and can't hear, and companies are beginning to stand up to the bullying. So as we approach the 2024 election, it's more important than ever to defend free speech and resist the left's attempts to silence dissent. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Oliver Darcy and CNN, they're nothing more than establishment puppets, desperate to maintain their grip on the narrative by pressuring Ticketmaster to cancel Tucker Carlson's tour. They've exposed their true colors. They don't want free speech. They want a monopoly on truth. But Americans are tired of being told what to think by self-appointed arbiters of truth. Darcy and CNN's tactics are as outdated as they are despicable. And the more they try to silence dissent, the more they expose themselves as frauds. The left's days of controlling the narrative are numbered, and no amount of bullying will stop the truth from prevailing. Now stay tuned as Netflix announces Netflix House, a 2025 debut offering immersive experiences in Pennsylvania and Texas malls. Angie has more.
Streaming giant Netflix is set to invigorate the entertainment scene with a novel initiative, Netflix House, slated for a 2025 debut. These huge entertainment blocks in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania and Dallas, Texas are projected to draw countless visitors. Netflix stalwarts will indulge in immersive real-world experiences based on popular series like Bridgerton, Stranger Things, and Squid Game. Fans can expect themed restaurants, exclusive merchandise stores, and entire worlds modeled after their favorite Netflix shows. Located strategically in bustling malls, these 100,000 square foot complexes move Netflix's commitment to innovating viewer experiences. Don't miss Gary's ebook, The Silent Coup, link in the bio. Up next, Gary reveals Hillary Clinton's shocking attack on Justice Alito's faith and its disturbing implications.
In a shocking display of religious bigotry, Hillary Clinton has launched a vicious attack on Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, labeling him as a scary fanatic for his Christian faith. This blatant assault on religious freedom exposes the left's shameful anti-God agenda and their willingness to target those who stand for faith and justice. Join us as we uncover the disturbing implications of Clinton's words and the urgent need to defend our nation's core values. Now, folks, just as Clinton attacks Alito's faith, Americans are under attack by skyrocketing AC bills amid record heat waves. 20 million people struggle with power bills, but I've found a solution. This mini AC device makes any room icy cold, providing 25 hours of cool air anywhere. It paid for itself in the first month. Beat the greedy utility companies and stay cool by visiting EasySummerCool.com. That's EasySummerCool.com, or click the link below for up to 60% off today with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and fast USA shipping. Now, in an alarming interview that has sent shockwaves through the nation, Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State and failed 2016 presidential candidate, has launched an unprecedented attack on Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. With a blatant disregard for the principles of religious freedom and fairness, Clinton targeted Alito for his Christian faith, labeling him scary and a fanatic. This shameless display of religious bigotry exposes the depths to which the left will sink to further their anti-God agenda. Now, Clinton's remarks made during a podcast interview with Democracy Docket's Mark Elias reveal a disturbing pattern of intolerance and misinformation. As a former senator, Clinton had the opportunity to interview both Alito and Chief Justice John Roberts during their nomination process. While she dismissed Roberts as merely a conservative, corporate-oriented lawyer, she reserved her most venomous criticism for Alito, branding him a radical and a fanatic solely based on his religious convictions. Watch.
You know, I was in the Senate when both John Roberts and Alito were nominated to the court by George W. Bush. Therefore, I had a chance, as you rightly say, to interview both of them. And I found John Roberts to be a kind of conservative, corporate-oriented lawyer who had a kind of preconceived notion of the way things and people should work. And I voted against him because I thought he was, you know, not only a candidate of the far right, the Federalist Society and their agenda, but that his life experience was just too narrow to really be in that position. Alito struck me almost immediately upon sitting down to talk with him as a radical, as a fanatic about his views of culture and the role of religion in our society, and his religion, not maybe yours or mine, Mark's, but his religion. And I found him scary, and I said so on the floor of the Senate when I voted against him. We got the judges that had been groomed, put into the pipeline to do what they are now doing.
Now, the left's willingness to attack a sitting Supreme Court justice for his faith is a chilling reminder of the dangerous path that they've chosen. By openly condemning Alito's religious beliefs, Clinton has shown that the left has no qualms about trampling on the very foundations of our nation's freedoms. This blatant attack of religious prejudice is not only an affront to Justice Alito, but to all Americans who cherish their right to practice their faith without fear of persecution. Clinton's comments are particularly egregious given her own history of misrepresentation and scandal. As a former presidential candidate who's faced numerous controversies, including the mishandling of classified information and questionable foreign donations to her foundation, Clinton's credibility is severely lacking. Yet she has the audacity to cast aspersions on a respected jurist based solely on his religious beliefs, exposing the left's hypocrisy and double standards. Now, the timing of Clinton's attack is no coincidence. In the wake of the Supreme Court's historic decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the left has ramped up their efforts to undermine the legitimacy of the court and its conservative justices. By singling out Alito, who authored the opinion in that landmark case, Clinton aims to fuel the flames of discord and division, hoping to rally her base around a common enemy. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Hillary Clinton's attack on Justice Alito's faith is a chilling reminder of the left's growing intolerance and their willingness to undermine the very institutions that safeguard our freedoms. As Americans, we must stand united against this blatant religious bigotry and defend the principles that make our nation great. The future of our republic hangs in the balance, and it's up to each and every one of us to fight for faith, justice, and liberty. Up next, a sad day for baseball fans. We've lost the legendary Willie Mays at 93, the iconic Say Hey Kid. Angie has more.
It's a sad day for baseball fans. We've lost our legend, Willie Mays, at 93. This phenomenal athlete, referred to as the Say Hey Kid, was born in Alabama May 6, 1931. His remarkable professional baseball career began at 17 with the Birmingham Black Barons. Mays' impressive career, which started in 1951 and extended till 1973, witnessed him being selected to an incredible 24 All-Star teams. He had an unforgettable influence on the sport with exceptional stats, but his flair and unmatched skill set made him more than just numbers. Giants chairman Greg Johnson described him as a true legend. The baseball community globally is mourning the passing of this icon, whose influence will inspire future generations. Don't miss Gary's ebook, The Silent Coup, link in the bio. Up next, Gary exposes the dangerous alliance between Russia and North Korea, warning of potential global conflict.
In a world teetering on the edge of global conflict, a dangerous alliance emerges. Russia and North Korea have joined forces, signing a partnership deal that heralds the strongest pact since the Cold War. As these oppressive regimes unite, emboldened by President Biden's glaring weakness, the specter of a third world war looms ever closer. And this special report will expose the truth behind this unholy alliance and reveal why America desperately needs Trump's strength, now more than ever. And just as the Russia-North Korea pact threatens global stability, your rising energy bills threaten your financial security. These power bills have gotten so expensive that a record 20 million households are now behind on payments. But you can fight back against greedy utility companies with this amazing little device. It plugs into any wall outlet. It reduces electricity waste, extends appliance lifespan, and ensures safe, constant power flow. Get a 60-day risk-free trial, 65% off free shipping, and bonus gifts at don'twastepower.com. That's don'twastepower.com to slash your bills and keep more money in your pocket every month. Now, our world stands on the precipice of another global conflict, and the reason is clear. President Biden's glaring weakness. When Biden took office, he peddled an image of strength, a firm stance against oppressive regimes. But recent events have exposed this as nothing more than hollow posturing. Just last week, Russia and North Korea signed a partnership deal marking their firmest alliance since the end of the Cold War, an alliance that has been emboldened by Biden's constant failure to offer anything beyond tepid sanctions in response to clear demonstrations of aggression. The details of the strategic pact between Moscow and Pyongyang cover security, trade, investment, and cultural ties, elevating their relationship to the level of a full-fledged alliance. In this striking video, we witnessed the grand reception of Putin by Kim Jong-un and the North Korean National Party. Watch this. Pomp and circumstance on display serve as a reminder of the growing bond between these two authoritarian leaders. When Biden should have been a bulwark against such unholy alliances, He's instead turned a blind eye, leaving the world at the mercy of these oppressive regimes. This development could never have happened under President Trump. Trump, for all his flaws, he understood the need for strength when dealing with the likes of Putin and Kim Jong-un. His unwavering stance against oppressive regimes and refusal to kowtow to globalist agendas are exactly what we need to prevent a third world war. In this footage, we see the extravagant parade held in North Korea in honor of Putin's visit. Let's watch. Now, the grandiose display of military might and synchronized performances underscore the deepening ties between these two nations, a stark contrast to the weak response from the Biden administration. As the dust settles on this latest incident, one thing becomes increasingly clear: globalists, they want a war. They thrive on conflict and turmoil, and what better way to achieve this than a world war? In their dangerous game, America is being used as a pawn, its true strength diminished, its influence waning under Biden's leadership. In a shocking revelation, this video captures Putin hinting at the possibility of providing North Korea with long-range missiles. Watch.
Обращаю внимание на заявление Соединенных Штатов, других натовских стран о поставках высокоточных систем вооружения большого радиуса действия, самолетов F-16 и другого высокотехнологичного вооружения, техники для нанесения ударов по российской территории. В этой связи Российская Федерация не исключает для себя развитие военно-технического сотрудничества с Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой в соответствии с подписанным сегодня документом.
This alarming development highlights the grave consequences of Biden's failure to take a strong stance against these aggressive regimes, as they now openly discuss sharing advanced weapons technology. We cannot afford another moment of Biden's weakness, for the price may be far higher than we could ever imagine. The culmination of these recent events is a blatant example of how his passive stance has reinforced the boldness of these regimes, allowing for the emergence of a dangerous new dynamic in the global landscape. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The Russia-North Korea alliance is a wake-up call for America. We can no longer afford to stand idly by as oppressive regimes unite and threaten global stability. President Biden's weakness has brought us to the brink of disaster, and it's time for a change. We need a leader with the strength and conviction to stand up to these authoritarian powers, a leader like President Trump. The future of our nation and the world depends on it. Next up, pop icon Justin Timberlake's DUI arrest in New York and its potential impact on his ongoing Forget Tomorrow tour. Angie has the details.
Pop icon Justin Timberlake faces legal problems following a DWI arrest in New York's Sag Harbor. The 43-year-old singer remains in custody and is set to face the court. This incident unfolded post a dinner at a local hotspot when Timberlake was en route to a friend's home. Notably, this arrest lands in the middle of his currently ongoing Forget Tomorrow tour. The incident's impact on the scheduled gigs, including performances in Chicago and Madison Square Garden, is yet unclear. The surprising event has sparked discussions in the entertainment industry about the repercussions of driving impaired. Don't miss Gary's ebook, The Silent Coup, link in the bio. Next, Gary dives into Trump's fiery comments on Biden's European trip, exposing media cover-ups and cognitive concerns.
In a world where the lines between truth and fiction blur, one man stands tall, wielding the sword of reality against the left's dystopian deception. As viral videos expose Biden's mental decline, the mainstream media desperately tries to cover it up, but President Trump isn't having it. He's calling out the shameless liars and their 1984-style manipulation. So brace yourself for a special report that will shatter the illusion and reveal the shocking truth. So stay tuned. So as the battle for truth rages on, it's crucial to protect your financial future from the looming economic reset. Just like how the left tries to manipulate reality, the U.S. dollar's weakness is being masked by the rising price of gold. Global Gold Investments, America's leading conservative precious metals dealer, offers a solution. Call that number that you see on the screen. Pause the video if you have to write it down. 888 888-700-4148. Call them today, mention Next News Network, and receive a free portfolio analysis and their exclusive 2024 Insure Your Money Wealth Preservation Guide. Don't let the dollar's imminent reset catch you off guard. Safeguard your assets with Global Gold Investments. Call now, 888-700-4148. Now, in a stunning display of raw honesty, President Trump has once again shed light on the disturbing reality that the mainstream media desperately tries to conceal. During his rally in Racine, Wisconsin, Trump fearlessly addressed the elephant in the room: Joe Biden's alarming mental decline and the left's shameless attempts to cover it up. Let's watch.
They have a candidate that has no clue, doesn't know where he is, and all they can do is lie. I love it. I'm the one that picked Milwaukee officially, so... And you had, and I think you had about 10 congressmen in a meeting that we had recently where I said how much I like Milwaukee. They all came out. They said, that's what he said. We can't help it. And they're truthful people. But I just want to begin by saying, hello, Wisconsin. Hello. Great state. We've had great success here. It's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands and thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. What a crowd. What a crowd. With your help, 5 months from now, we're going to win Wisconsin. We're going to defeat your radical left Democrat senator, one of the worst in the Senate. Nobody even knows she's a senator. I mean, frankly, she's not doing a good job representing. We have somebody that's going to be great. But we're going to defeat your Senator Tammy Baldwin. We're going to elect Eric Hovde of this area, by the way, who's a great gentleman, and spent a lot of time with him. He and his wife are incredible people. He's going to be a great representative. They're going to be great representatives of your state. But we're going to elect him to the U.S. Senate. We're going to evict weak, failed, and incompetent Joe Biden. He's an incompetent person from the White House. And quite simply, we are going to make America great again. Less than 4 years ago, our border was secure, inflation was nowhere to be seen, the world was at peace, and America was strong and respected. We were respected all over the world. None of this stuff would have been happening that's happened now with Russia and Ukraine and the attack on Israel. None of it would have been happening. We would have had and we wouldn't have had a thing called inflation. That would have been nice, too. But it was a different place 4 years ago, I think. But now we're going to make it better and bigger and stronger than ever before. But you had a president who put America first. I put America first. They put America last. Under crooked Joe Biden, the world is in flames. Our border is overrun. Inflation is raging. Europe is in total chaos. The Middle East is exploding. Iran is emboldened, China is on the march, and the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III. Other than that, he's doing quite a good job, don't you think? Quite good. Joe Biden is humiliating our country on the world stage. He's actually humiliating us. You saw what happened this weekend. It's turning the United States into a total joke all over the world. First, he wandered off the G7 in Europe, the stage. He looked like he didn't know where the hell he was, but he didn't know where he was. He's blaming it now on AI. He's saying he doesn't know what AI is, but that's okay. Now they're saying the media is manipulating. Oh, he's saying the media is manipulating. Now, on that one, I have to stick up for the media, I have to tell you. He said the media is manipulating the pictures of him constantly not knowing where the hell he is. They're doing just the opposite. They're making him look better. At the G7 in Europe, and he had to be rescued by other world leaders. They had to pull him back. Then he bizarrely put his face on the Pope's forehead. What was that all about? That was weird. Vivek is here. That was weird, Vivek. I don't know. Did you see the Pope? The Pope is like, what's happening? The Pope didn't really know what was happening. He said, this is strange. Then he froze during the celebration on the White House lawn. Then Barack Hussein Obama had to grab his hand and lead him off the stage as though he were a child. I have to tell you, Obama could have handled that differently. He could have done it a little bit softer. He could have done it like, let's go. Go. He didn't have to grab him and pull him off the stage, but he looked good, and I guess that was his primary purpose. He wanted to look good. He could have done a better job. In fact, the Biden people were very upset about that whole incident, but yet to be discussed. But Crooked Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever, and they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is? They're deceptively edited. They say they're deceptively edited. All of the mistakes that he's made every day. He can't go anywhere without a mistake. Now, if I'm perfect, they say he made a mistake. He did perfect. And I don't say clean fakes, although they do. They do that. They do that. They're the fake news. Look how many you have out there. They're all over the place. But with me, they take a good speech and they make it look as bad as possible. With him, they take the worst speech you've ever heard and they try and make him look like semi-normal. These are shameless liars who are trying to deceive you about other people, the people that represent Biden. The Russia people, the laptop from hell people, the 51 intelligence agent people. They're the people that said all sorts of lies about military, about our great military. They make up stories about our military. It's disgraceful what they can do, and they're so destructive to our country. They're the people that really destroy everything that they touch. That's why this November the people of Wisconsin are going to tell Crooked Joe Biden, remember, The Apprentice, you're fired. Get out. You've done a horrible job. You've done a horrible, horrible job. Worst president in history. Get out. You're fired. Get out. We can't get him out fast enough. I'm worried about the next 5 months. We could end up in World War III with this person. He's the worst president ever.
Now, the spark that ignited this firestorm was Biden's disastrous trip to Europe, where he wandered off during the G7 parachuting displays. Watch. Now, it could be argued that he's looking at that paratrooper right there. When you take a look at the wide shot, but he clearly does wander. Another clip going viral is when he head bumped Pope Francis. Take a look. Look at that. Look at him. It's like he's going in. He touched his forehead. Who does that? So as videos of these incidents went viral, the Biden camp went into full-blown panic mode, resorting to the age-old tactic of crying disinformation and demanding censorship from social media platforms. But Trump isn't buying it. He boldly called out the Biden campaign spokesperson for labeling the G7 videos disinformation and demanding its removal. This desperate attempt to silence the truth is reminiscent of the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, where Joe Biden relied on social media censorship to keep the story under wraps just before the 2020 presidential election. The plot thickens as the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, lashed out at conservative media outlets for circulating the unedited video clips of Biden freezing up and being led off stage by his handler-in-chief, Barack Obama. She had the audacity to describe these raw, unaltered videos as cheap, fake videos done in bad faith. Watch.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. Instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes. These manipulated videos. And it is, again, done in bad faith.
In Trump's response, well, Joe Biden is humiliating our country on the world stage. He slammed Biden's team for calling the real videos of his mental freefall fakes, even mocking Biden's attempt to blame it on AI. He doesn't know what AI is, but that's okay. That's what Trump quipped. But the real kicker came when Trump exposed the fake news media's double standards. He said, with me, they take a good speech and they make me look as bad as possible. With him, they take the worst speech you've ever heard and they try to make him look semi-normal. Trump labeled them shameless liars, the same people behind the Russia collusion hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up, and the smears against our military. As the 2024 election looms on the horizon, the stakes couldn't be higher. The left's Orwellian attempts to rewrite reality and create a dystopian 1984 are no longer the stuff of fiction. They're happening right before our eyes, but with Trump leading the charge, armed with the unbreakable sword of truth, there's hope that the American people will see through the lies and manipulation. So it's time to stand up against these shameless liars, the fake news media, and the Biden camp's desperate attempts to cover up the truth. As Trump so powerfully put it, they are the people that really destroy everything that they touch. This November, the people of Wisconsin and the rest of America have a chance to tell crooked Joe Biden, in the immortal words of The Apprentice, you're fired. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The battle for truth has never been more crucial. As the left tries to create a dystopian reality where facts are obscured and narratives are manipulated, it's up to us to stand firm and expose their lies. President Trump's unwavering commitment to calling out the fake news media and the Biden camp's cover-ups is a beacon of hope in these dark times. Together, we can prevent the rise of a true-life 1984 and preserve the integrity of our great nation. Next up, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy proposes mandatory warning labels on social media, comparing their mental health risks to tobacco. Angie has more.
Surprising call to action from Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, who proposes mandatory warning labels on social media platforms flagging mental health risks to teens. He likens these to tobacco and alcohol product warnings, which are known to impact consumer behavior. Citing a rise in adolescent depression, Murthy argues that social media's incredible growth parallels this trend, with young people who spend over 3 hours daily on the medium twice as likely to experience anxiety and depression. He pushes Congress to legislate protection for our future generation against online abuse, harmful exposure, and sensitive data collection by tech companies. Accountability, transparent safety measures, he stresses, must be instigated to ensure that the online universe our children inhabit is secure. Don't miss Gary's ebook, The Silent Coup, link in the bio. Next, a CNN analyst is stunned as Trump's support among black voters surges, revealing a dramatic shift in voter dynamics.
Brace yourselves for a political earthquake that's left even CNN analysts in disbelief. Donald Trump's support among black voters is skyrocketing, and the numbers are nothing short of astonishing. As Joe Biden's grip on this crucial demographic slips, the 2024 election landscape is being rewritten before our eyes. And this special report will uncover the reasons behind this seismic shift and what it means for America's future. And you don't want to miss our final thought. Now, as the value of the dollar continues to erode, savvy Americans are turning to gold to protect their wealth. Just like black voters are shifting to support Trump, smart investors are shifting their assets to precious metals. With the national debt skyrocketing and the dollar's future uncertain, now is the time to safeguard your financial future. Support this program and call America's leading precious metals and retirement company, Global Gold Investments. Mention this channel and receive their 5-star customer treatment, plus a free portfolio analysis and their new 2024 Insure Your Money Wealth Preservation Guide. Don't wait. Call that number on the screen. Pause the video if you have to write it down. 888-700-4148. Now, the political world is buzzing with the latest CNN segment featuring data analyst Henry Enton, who unveiled a stunning shift in black voter support. Enton, visibly shaken aback by the numbers, reported that Joe Biden's support among African Americans has plummeted from 86% in 2020 to just 70% now. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's popularity has tripled, soaring from 7% to an impressive 21%. Watch.
CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton is with us. So where does the race stand among African American voters right now?
Yeah, I keep looking for this to change, to go back to a historical norm, and it simply put has not yet. So this is the margin, or Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for a Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades.
And when you dig into this number here, what is the makeup of that number?
This is where we get very interesting. So I decided to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks. Holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, we are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition, are leaving it in droves.
That is a huge drop over a 4-year period, at least right now. All right, what's the impact of third-party candidacies here? Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, you know, so, all right, so obviously we have third-party candidates this year with the 2 major party candidates being so disliked. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump in the battleground states. This was according to a poll last month from the New York Times, Siena College. Again, looks very similar to what we see nationally, right? Joe Biden at 63, a very poor position for a Democratic candidate. Donald Trump at 23%. If we add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to this, look at where Joe Biden drops to. Less than half the vote among black voters. Less than half the vote among black voters in the battleground states. Donald Trump drops as well to 14%, so not quite nearly as historic. But look at this. RFK with 11%. You basically have a legitimate sort of 3-way race here. Yeah, Joe Biden well ahead, but with less than 50% of the vote. John, I never thought I would see something like this among black voters.
And for those questioning who Robert Kennedy would hurt more, at least in these numbers, in this measurement right here, Biden loses 14, Trump loses 9. So it's clearly Joe Biden.
It's exactly right. It seems to me this is, yes, it's partially a artifact of Donald Trump perhaps being better liked among black voters, but it's also a real artifact of Joe Biden being significantly less liked among black voters than he was 4 years ago.
Harry Etten, great to see you. Thank
Great
you
to
very
see
much.
you.
Oh, that was remarkable. Enton's analysis revealed that the most dramatic change is occurring among younger black voters under 50. In 2020, Biden held a commanding 80-point lead with this demographic. Now that lead has shrunk to a mere 37 points, indicating a profound shift in political allegiances. Several factors are driving this unprecedented realignment. Trump's economic policies during his presidency, which focused on creating opportunities and fostering growth, struck a chord with many black voters. Additionally, the Biden administration's perceived inability to effectively address key issues has left young voters disillusioned and seeking change. The implications of this shift for the 2024 election cannot be overstated. Black voters have long been a reliable bastion of support for the Democrat Party, particularly in critical battleground states like Georgia and Wisconsin. However, Trump's surging popularity threatens to upend the traditional political calculus. As Enton noted, we are careening towards a historic performance for a Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades. This trend represents not just a statistical anomaly, but a potential watershed moment in American politics. The growing support for Trump among black voters signifies a broader desire for change and a willingness to break free from long-standing political loyalties. It underscores the importance of addressing the needs and concerns of all Americans, regardless of race or background. As the 2024 election draws closer, this development will undoubtedly shape campaign strategies and force both parties to reevaluate their approach to engaging with black voters. The political landscape is shifting beneath our feet, and those who fail to adapt risk being left behind. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. The rise of Trump's support among black voters is a wake-up call for our republic. It demonstrates that no political party can take any demographic for granted. As Americans, we must demand that our leaders address the issues that matter most to us, regardless of race or background. Only by coming together and engaging in honest dialogue can we hope to build a future that works for all. The 2024 election will be a defining moment for America. Up next, George Strait breaks the U.S. concert attendance record at Kyle Field with over 110,000 fans in attendance. Angie has more.
George Strait, country music maestro, shattered the U.S. concert attendance record with over 905,000 fans at his recent performance at Kyle Field, Texas A&M University. Surpassing a 1977 Grateful Dead record, the crowd in College Station also set a new bar for the new stadium, previously held by a 2014 Texas A&M Ole Miss football game. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Senator Ted Cruz were among the high-profile attendees celebrating Strait's spectacle. Strait's, with a string of hits to his name, introduced 2 new songs from his forthcoming album, Cowboys and Dreamers. Catch the king of country music next in Salt Lake City, Detroit, or Chicago. Domus Gary's ebook, The Silent Coup, link in the bio.
Next, Angie's got a special report exploring the extreme weather that's hitting the United States, from heat waves to unexpected snow in the Rockies.
Imagine stepping outside and feeling the searing heat take your breath away. For 71 million Americans, this is a reality as a dangerous heat wave sweeps the nation. But that's not the only weather threat on the horizon. From the scorching south to the surprisingly chilly Pacific Northwest, and even the possibility of snow in the Rockies, the U.S. is facing a barrage of extreme conditions. Brace yourself for a special report that will leave you stunned. As the nation grapples with an onslaught of extreme weather, Americans from coast to coast are feeling the impact. The most pressing concern is the massive heat wave that has engulfed the southern United States, putting 71 million people under heat alerts, advisories, and warnings. As NBC News meteorologist Michelle Grossman explains, the heat is not just uncomfortable, it's downright dangerous. Take a look.
We're going to see a couple days of this, and it is dangerous. Heat, extreme heat is the #1 weather-related killer. So you need to take it seriously. If you don't have air conditioning, you need to find some places, libraries, movies, cooling centers that may keep you comfortable over the next several days, because we're looking into next week where we're going to see this extended period of very hot weather. 71 million people impacted by heat alerts. We have heat advisories, heat watches, heat warnings throughout the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, into the Northeast, also New England. You're going to feel well above 100 degrees in many spots over the next several days. Most spots into the 90s, 95 today in Syracuse. You factor in the humidity, it will feel like 103. Remember, this is the last full day of spring. Summer arrives tomorrow, but we're already feeling like summer. 93 in Columbus, 90 in Charlottesville, New York City looking at 90 degrees. That is today. By tomorrow, same story. We're going to keep this bubble of high pressure, this heat in place over the next several days. Pittsburgh, 94, Detroit, 92, Philadelphia, 92. It's going to feel like 94 for you tomorrow. And then look at Bangor, Maine. This is going to be a really hot spot over the next several days, feeling like 103 once you factor in that humidity. Then as we go throughout the next couple of days, at late week, we're looking at Friday, 97 in Lexington, and through Sunday, 96.
With temperatures soaring into the triple digits and humidity making it feel even hotter, those without access to air conditioning are at heightened risk for heat-related illnesses. Grossman advises seeking refuge in cooling centers, libraries, and theaters to escape the oppressive heat. But the scorching temperatures aren't limited to the South. Even New England, known for its milder summers, is bracing for the heat. Cities like Bangor, Maine could feel like a stifling 103 degrees once the humidity is factored in. This serves as a reminder that extreme weather can affect any region, regardless of its typical climate. As if the heat wasn't enough, the Pacific Northwest is facing a different kind of challenge: unseasonably cold weather. The abrupt shift from the warm temperatures typically associated with summer is a testament to the unpredictable nature of weather patterns. Meanwhile, in the Rocky Mountains, a surprising prospect looms on the horizon: the potential for late-season snow. These rare occurrences is yet another example of the diverse and often unexpected weather events that can occur across the United States. WGN News reports that the heat wave is not just affecting the southern states, but is spreading to other parts of the country as well. Take a look.
After intense flooding in Florida, the state is now bracing for a heat wave, but it is not alone. Temperatures are rising across much of the southern United States today. In Atlanta, temperatures were expected to soar to nearly 100 degrees today and tomorrow. And in El Paso, Texas, the mercury could reach a 105 today. The National Weather Service issued a heat advisory through Monday morning in the region, and severe thunderstorms could produce flash flooding between eastern Nebraska and northern Wisconsin.
In Atlanta, temperatures are expected to soar nearly 100 degrees, while El Paso, Texas could reach a scorching 105 degrees. The National Weather Service has issued heat advisories through Monday, urging residents to take precautions and stay hydrated. The combination of extreme heat, unexpected cold, and the looming threat of snow paints a picture of a nation experiencing a wide range of weather conditions simultaneously. As we navigate these challenges, it's essential to remain vigilant and prepared for any situation that may arise. It's crucial for Americans to stay informed about the weather conditions in their area and take necessary precautions to protect themselves and their loved ones. This means staying hydrated, limiting time outdoors during peak heat hours, and checking on vulnerable neighbors and family members. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The extreme weather events unfolding across our nation serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of preparedness and adaptability as we face the challenges of scorching heat waves, unseasonable cold snaps, and the potential for late-season snow. It's crucial that we come together as a community to support one another by staying informed, taking necessary precautions, and looking out for the most vulnerable among us. We can weather any storm that comes our way. Together we can build a more resilient nation ready to face whatever Mother Nature has in store. That is all the news we have for you this evening. Now it's time for Gary to make your voices heard in the comments section.
Folks, we're back with another edition of the comment section where we hear directly from you, the American people. Tonight's comments are in response to our coverage of President Trump's recent visit to the swamp's epicenter in Washington, D.C. First up, we have Araman792, who says, "Can't wait for President Trump to take the reins of America." Well, you're right. The American people are tired of the radical left's disastrous policies and are desperate for strong leadership. President Trump is the only one with the guts to take on the establishment and put America first. Nettie F3857 asks, "Who is excited to vote for Trump? I know I am, and millions of hardworking patriots are too." That's right. Despite the less vicious smears, President Trump fights relentlessly for the forgotten men and women of this country. And Denise calls Trump a true patriot and a good example of what a commander-in-chief looks like and talks like. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. President Trump's bold America First rhetoric is exactly what we need to take our country back from the globalists. Indigo Woman, she notes that after saying, "A leader is being left out. He should have and doesn't even know it." Leave it to the president to call out Joe Biden's cognitive decline without even naming him. The puppet masters really are leaving Biden out to dry. And finally, Kevin declares, "This is our 1776 moment. Be firm, be resolute, and never give up." Well said. Just like our founding fathers, we must stand firm against the tyranny of the Democrat mob. The radical agenda cannot be allowed to destroy our values and our way of life. That is all for tonight's comment section, but stay tuned. The revolution is just getting started, and maybe next time your comment will make the cut. Our Republic has seen its fair share of political theater and partisan posturing over the years, but what longtime Republican strategist Roger Stone recently said about Joe Biden takes things to a whole new level. He claims that as the 2024 Democrat convention draws closer, the party will realize Biden is simply not capable of running again due to his mental decline. He says it's obvious that Biden is non compos mentis, essentially lacking mental competence, and then he offers this. Watch.
Do you think Joe Biden's going to drop out of the 2024 election?
Well, if you went to the Turning Point event in Palm Beach, which was a great event, I predicted in my remarks that shortly before the convention, the Democrats would recognize that Joe Biden is just not capable of getting through another campaign. If anything, things are worse now than they were then. He's non compos mentis. It's quite obvious. The epic corruption of his family, including his son, his brother, and others, is now manifest. Everyone can see it. So I think the chances are greater than they have ever been before that Joe Biden will be replaced, that shortly before the convention he will announce his decision not to resign, but to not run again. He will throw it open to the convention, and I still believe that the convention will draft Michelle Obama. Now, I haven't said Michelle Obama is running for president or wants to run for president, but I think the Democrats may persuade her that she could be their last best chance to stop Donald Trump's return to the White House. So I'll stick by my prediction, and we'll see.
Roger Stone, the longtime Republican strategist, he's sounding the alarm about the dire state of the Biden presidency. In his astute analysis, the feeble and corrupt Biden will likely be forced to abandon his re-election bid at the Democrat convention. Stone goes on to make the bold prediction that the desperate Democrats will turn to Michelle Obama as their last-ditch effort to stop Donald Trump's triumphant return to the White House. Stone's willingness to speak truth to power and call out the sitting president is both courageous and necessary. The American people deserve to hear these important perspectives that the mainstream media often tries to suppress. Stone's rhetoric aligns with the broader narrative that's being advanced by Trump's Make America Great Again movement, namely that Biden is a mentally compromised puppet being controlled by corrupt family members and far-left Democrat Party insiders. This is a crucial message aimed at exposing the truth about Biden's lack of legitimacy as presidency. While some may dismiss Stone's specific prediction about Michelle Obama, his critiques reinforce the valid concerns raised by Trump's allies about the integrity of the upcoming 2024 election. Patriotic Americans are rightfully worried about the potential for voter fraud and election rigging by the Democrats. Ultimately, Stone's thought-provoking claims deserve to be heard and seriously considered by the American people. In these uncertain times, we must think critically about the partisan forces trying to mislead us. The future of our great republic is at stake, and Roger Stone is one of the few brave voices daring to speak the truth. And that's why we're looking at Roger Stone. What we've laid out for you tonight is a pattern, a coherent effort by powerful forces to dismantle the foundations of our nation. From the left's campaign to silence conservative voices like Tucker's, to Hillary Clinton's vile attack on religious faith, to the deeply concerning alliance between Russia and North Korea, to the inescapable truth about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, to the potential political realignment that could shake up the electoral landscape. These are not just isolated events. They are battlefronts in a war against our core values and identity as Americans. The left understands that to reshape this country into the radical vision, they must first destabilize the principles, beliefs, and narratives that have bound us together for centuries. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, government transparency and accountability, objective truth itself are all under assault. The Orwellian tactics of censorship, deception, and rewriting history shouldn't surprise us. This is their playbook. The stakes couldn't be higher. This is not just the next election cycle. It's about preserving the republic that our founders handed down to us. We must stand firm, reinforce those foundations with courage and resilience. Despite being deplatformed and demonetized, we will not be silenced. We will continue to bring you the truth and expose their lies and malign agenda. That is our solemn responsibility to you, the American people, and to the nation that we love. With your support, we won't just endure, we will prevail. So I'd like to give a big thank you to Angie for those hard-hitting news briefs. You laid out the facts with brutal clarity as always, and thank you to everyone who tuned in and participated in live chat. Your engagement is vital because this isn't just our fight, it's a fight for the soul of this nation that we all love. And just like a fire needs fuel and oxygen to keep burning, the truth needs voices willing to speak it out loud and ears willing to listen with open minds. For too long, powerful forces have been choking off that supply, censoring those who dare to challenge their narratives, deplatforming those who shine light on uncomfortable realities. Our channel's been a torch burning for over a decade, illuminating the truth, even as crisis after crisis stretched the fabric of our country thin. But now that flame is in danger of being snuffed out. YouTube, our longtime home, has closed its doors, demonetizing and dismissing us despite our efforts to comply with their ever-shifting rules. Other platforms have met our pleas for partnership with disdain, as if the truth itself was offensive. We refuse to let that fire be extinguished. Our commitment to you, to the American spirit of freedom and truth, cannot be shaken. But we need your help to keep stoking those flames, whether through a financial contribution to fuel our operation, a prayer to sustain our resolve, or simply sharing our message on your social platforms to let more oxygen in. Every action counts. The links are below to stand with us in this critical moment. This is not just about keeping the lights on, it's about passing the torch of truth to the next generation, preserving a legacy of freedom for the America that we know and cherish. With your support, we won't just endure, we will burn brighter than ever before. So join us on this journey. The fate of our mission rests in your hands tonight. Together we will keep the flame of truth burning bright. Good night.